12,800 pounds, a Sanibel mid-bunk coming in on trade here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This is only the second or third time I've ever even seen a mid-bunk in the used market here at Haylett RV. They are a newer thing in the RV industry, and they are hard to find at those used dollars. Now, you're not gonna believe it, but folks, I'm telling you, that is not the original factory furniture, he says with heavy sarcasm. The folks that owned this were full-timers. That's actually part of the reason this RV was parked up next to our building there. We just had our RV cleaning and detailing team run through it so that it would be in good shape for the next owners. And normally I shoot things right as they arrive, but the folks had this thing packed full, and they were living in it until they swapped out of it into their new big open-range fifth-wheel bunkhouse that they got here at Haylett RV. They liked RVing, they're still RVing, they just needed a little bit different arrangement. Now, the original factory furniture that was in here didn't quite suit them. They swapped it out for a type of storage seating, basically, something that fit their family a little bit better. Here's the good news. RV furniture, or this aftermarket replacement furniture, none of it's ever bolted to the floor. And I like what the folks did. I like how they made it their own. And I commend anyone who does that. The good news is if what they did doesn't work for your tastes, big deal. You could just pull it out of here. You could replace it. No sweat. We take things like this into account when we look at a used RV. We say, okay, what is a customer reasonably going to want to do to it or with it? And we try to consider that. They've made a small bunk room revision as well. Nothing major. We'll look at that when we get there in a minute, though. So the benefit of a middle bunkhouse like this, though, is it gives us the best living room a bunkhouse fifth wheel possibly can, because it has the same dual opposing super slide living room as any other big fifth wheel. Another thing they did here I really like is, and this wasn't the previous owners, this was Prime Time who made this RV, they didn't put the sink in the island. So the island is just nothing but prep space. You see how it has outlets, and you're going, those cutaways up front, those are a little weird. If you choose to add like a little breakfast stool or chair or something, suddenly it becomes the best little breakfast bar you've ever seen. Now, across from our seating, we have one of my favorite things, a no neck wrecker entertainment system, and there is storage just all around that entertainment center. That is something that they didn't waste an opportunity on here. Naturally, down below we have our electric space heating fireplace, but above that, you have slots there where if you want to expand your entertainment system, you want to add something high-defy or a gaming system or whatever, you can do that. Now, over in the corner is a set of extra chairs. As we swing around here, I'm going to first point out the fact that we are just loaded with campside viewing windows, but over here in the dining area, you see that they kind of did something with this that a lot of modern fifth wheels have, in which you have two full-time chairs and then a pair of pull-out guest chairs for food or something like that when you need it. And obviously that table is not strapped to the floor either. So once again, if you want to exchange that, there's nothing at all that says you can't. Another cool factor in this RV is that it has dual quiet ducted air systems. So whether it's back here or in the front bedroom, it blows a lot quieter, and it's just less disruptive to whether you're, your daytime entertainment or your nighttime sleeping, whatever. Now, that island is not just prep space. You can see it is also storage, and there's outlets on both sides. And really kind of pay attention to how much cabinet space is in here. This RV is absolutely loaded with storage space over here between the entertainment storage and the kitchen storage. Now, that is an 18 cubic foot gas electric fridge freezer. That is as big as one of those suckers can get. So it is dual source, so that if you lose power or something like that, if you're going to be off grid, you do have the ability to keep that fridge running. And since the sink's not in the island, they had to put it somewhere. And this is an arrangement right here that I think Open Range really kind of made popular, which is almost ironic that the folks ended up taking home an Open Range after this one right here. They took good care of it from what I can see. Like over here you see the entertainment center, or pardon me, not the entertainment center, the command center. They kind of labeled things so that you knew what switches did what things, because it is kind of like interior. Okay, which interior? It's just nice to know which one's which. Now, middle bunk room, and this is not a middle bonus room with a loft. It is a true middle bunk room. But when I said that they did a little modification here, they altered the lower bed and reinforced it so that it's more of just a traditional single bunk, but it has a heavier weight rating. So I gotta believe that maybe someone in the family was like a bigger kid or a bigger person or something like that. I don't know the exact family dynamic for who was in this RV. I just know that they bulked it up. Now, it's very inexpensive and maybe not the fanciest looking thing, but it is exceptionally effective. They just took a plain old roll of aluminum foil and cut it to fit that window and fitted it up in there. So that, now if you want to pull that down, you could, but they didn't have a lot of other ways to keep the sunlight from beaming in through that skylight and causing this little room to get hot wherever they happen to camp. So they just blocked it right off. Now as we pan our way around here, you can see this room has very good storage. It's nice that the bunk area has its own dedicated storage, actually, and even its own separate TV hookups. And that's what's kind of cool about this. Between the middle bunk room, the front bedroom, and the rear living area, if you crash on the sofa, you have 3 separate sleeping and entertainment zones, which is something most RVs just can't handle. And a coat closet right in the hallway here, right next to the door. That's something that drives me crazy when RVs don't have it, and I knew I'd almost forget to talk about it. Central vacuum system down there that we're getting ready to walk past. Hopping upstairs to the bathroom here. It is a very traditional bathroom layout for what you find in modern fifth wheels, because this RV is not all that old. You've got the good dedicated linen space there. The seamless one-piece shower over here. And you might have noticed that in the kitchen you had solid surface countertops, but everywhere else you still have at least a sealed edge pressed membrane countertop. And if you're kind of like trying to figure out like, what is this RV? Who is this thing? It's kind of if I'm trying to, how can I draw a parallel to something that we carry here at Haylett RV you might be more familiar with from more of my videos. Okay, so it's sort of like they tried to put the features of a Montana high country into something more the size and the shape of a Cougar, but from a completely different company. Primetime is actually a Forest River subsidiary. Now that's kind of oversimplifying it a little bit, but I think it's fairly accurate. You get the idea. Neat little eye appeal in the whole way that this sort of headboard area of the bed is treated, and that is a king bed, by the way. Remember, we are dual air, and it is a quiet ducting air system up here in the bedroom. That's why you don't see the square. That's why you won't hear the air near as much anyway. Now they took the mirrored doors off the front wardrobe. Why, I don't know. They instead put a little privacy curtain on it so that you weren't looking at their unmentionables, but in a sense, I'm actually kind of digging it because it makes this whole room look and feel so much larger. Now, obviously, over there in that corner, you do have a combo washer-dryer prep, and you can see that the TV up here in this hutch is still present. I don't know if that's a factory item or if that was added aftermarket, but the fact is, it's a good symbol of the fact that the folks that own this weren't scavengers. Everything had a place and they left things where they belonged. They just kind of, like I said, made it their own and they made it work their way for them, which, considering they were full-time RVers, that makes a lot of sense to me. In that storage compartment below the bed and bath deck, we have a big cavity here with its own little outdoor entertainment unit. And on the left side over here, you can see we have outside TV hookups as well. Magnet holdbacks, and as we back up here, we're about to be blinded by the light with the afternoon sun right behind this thing. But before we get there, I want to get right up to the side. You can see the sheen and the gleam, how the decals aren't peeled and flaking, faded. Also, while we're up here, they added strong arm stabilizer jacks to the automatic leveling system. So your front and rear auto leveling jacks both have those on there for additional stability. Borrowing a little page, I think, out of Heartland RV's playbook, this has a cutaway nose cap and a little bit of a shroud over that fifth wheel kingpin box up there. It just kind of gives it a little bit more of an eye appeal, but it gives like a 6.5 foot bed the ability to turn a little bit sharper without needing to get a more expensive slider hitch. Although you'd never regret having a slider hitch, you just might not need it. It sort of depends. Over here in the opposite side of that pass-through compartment, naturally we have an enclosed docking center, and the RV, like any big fifth wheel, it has an enclosed heated belly. It's got some kind of seasonal insulation package, and they've got a sticker on this thing somewhere that has a picture of, if you want to make an RV 4 seasons, here's what you do. You take a picture of a leaf, of some grass, of some sunshine, and a snowflake, and voila, 4 seasons. That's the magical way you do it. Now, I try to be fair and very honest and forthfront with information in these RV tours. You see, you got a little piece of fender trim right there, but you notice how it's missing over here. At some point in this RV's life cycle, it experienced a flat tire that damaged those pieces of fender trim, so they are no longer with us. The tires currently look good, so they obviously took care of that quickly, and this does ride on a Dexter axle and suspension system, which actually rides very, very nicely. Now, again, kind of like they swapped out the furniture, there's a little piece of missing fender trim. There's nothing that stops you from using this RV. There's nothing, quote unquote, wrong with it that I can find. There might be things that you prefer differently, but there's nothing wrong with the coach that'll prevent you from camping. However, we get that it's maybe not the way everybody wants to camp, so we're willing to work with you a little bit on the price tag to help, you know, this work for you so that you can spend a little money on the things you want to make it the way you prefer. And the roof looks darn good. The shrouds over these MaxxAir vent fan covers, the AC covers, the seals, it looks good. I don't see any area of any sort of major concern. In fact, if you look at the seals around the skylight, you can see where it's actually had little touch-up beads done on it, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. So, the overall impression I have with this RV is that you're not inheriting someone else's problems. They just wanted something that worked a little different. Now, one of the other reasons I want to get up here, again, I'm very straightforward. From ground level, you can't see this, but there is a little bit of fade going on up top here. The thing is, that's not actually from sun exposure. It's actually effectively like sandblasting. What's caused this is when you go down the road, next time you're on the highway, stick your, well, actually you shouldn't do this, but if you stuck your face out the window, do it for about 2 minutes and then pull your face back inside, and it's going to start to feel pretty raw pretty fast because you're getting sandblasted from all the debris and friction in the air. Well, that's what this nose cap is going for, and that's the area where you get the most contact from that air friction right there, the most turbulence. So, unfortunately, it's kind of sandblasted the top of this off. It's sort of it's sort of like my forehead. It just doesn't have what it used to have right there. Now, again, I try to be fair, and as you can see, back here, these are all the things that we have sold and basically just waiting to be picked up. And you can see that we roll a lot of RVs out of here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And I have a lot of experience going through and doing what I call CSI for camping. Looking at a used RV, discerning its story, and making sure that we're presenting something fairly decently and honestly, transparently to you folks at home. So, the ones back here, maybe not available, but up front there, past the magic gate, you've got about 500 options in addition to the one that I'm standing on top of right now. So, if it ain't this one, we got something that's going to work. That I can pretty much promise you. And short of that, looking forward to meeting you folks. Appreciate you tuning in. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.